Welcome to MadGaines Live. We have a very special episode for you today, wrapping up the International Women's Month. We are bringing to you with PortX Logistics and also streaming on FreightWaves TV. We're going to talk about women in logistics today, but don't run away yet, okay? I want every woman in the industry to listen to what we have to say, because I made a little list, y'all, of the things that I've done in my career because I am a woman and I've had to learn, and I still do sometimes. But if this sounds familiar, just listen in. We will have the advantageous. And by the way, just in case you guys see me stumbling, that's because my boiler room boys, the production guys, I can hear them in my ear, just chitty, chatter. And they're always making fun of me. They're like the little brothers that I never wanted or asked for. But that's okay. Mm-hmm. All right, so here we go. Advocating for ourselves. Why do we always have issues with that? Trusting your own voice, building alliances, getting those promotions you want, all the things that we constantly struggle with in our industry we're going to talk about today. So let's introduce the wonderful guests that I have. They're going to help guide us through these discussions. These wild, very successful women. Welcome to our show. And obviously, happy Friday, or I guess this is a special episode Friday. Welcome, you guys.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, thanks.
I'm happy to have you guys with me. Can we first talk about the Red Hot Chili Peppers t-shirt? I love that shirt very, very much. I'm so glad you wore it.
Thank you.
For those of you who are just listening to the podcast.
I got a pointer on it.
Did you get that from a concert or anywhere cool, or you just is your favorite shirt you're rocking?
No, it's my favorite shirt I'm rocking, pun intended, and it might have been a pitch by BK. So it's also my lucky t-shirt, so it works out in his favor.
Okay, I love your company very, very much. We want you three to know that before we introduce you guys. I do. So the folks at the FreightWaves, they are very much like your company, very trendy. They're always ahead of the times. They've got a big, powerful group of women at this company. And they came to me and said, you guys wanted to do this show. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not surprised to hear that PortX is the one that wants to do this show. So what was going on with you guys that drove this show? And could you also, each of you, introduce yourselves, starting with Red Hot Chili Peppers? Let's let her start.
Okay, so my name is Beatrice, and I prefer to go by B. I am the key account manager for PortX Long Beach in California. And yes, huge Red Hot Chili Peppers fan. I have been with PortX a little bit over 2 years now, and it's probably been the greatest adventure. I've been in logistics for a little over 10 years. And this is where
oh, wow.
I am hitting every adventure, every goal. And this is the happy place.
I love it. And thank you for joining. Thank you for joining us on this. And I think, did Brian tell you to position yourself perfectly so that the PortX graphic is right behind you?
Actually, you're going to find this pretty funny, but he actually wanted me to set up a picture of a bridge behind me so that it could be under the bridge. I couldn't manage the bridge. We do have the flag.
Okay.
I might have told him I would have put a backdrop of snow so that, hey-oh, but yeah, it didn't really go well.
I like that one better, though. Okay, and so who else do we have? Who wants to go next?
I'll go. I'm Tessie. That is my full name, by the way. People ask that a lot. I am newly this year, a part of the brand ambassador team here at PortX Logistics. So newly part of the sales team, I guess you could say. I've been here for going on 4 years in August. I do have some logistics backgrounds by the way of customs. I used to work for the customs department at FedEx and also Trans-American. So yeah, I'm living the dream here in logistics. It's been a fun, wild ride. I can't wait to tell you a little bit more about it. Yeah.
And I also love your background, and I love the yellow. So I'm excited to have you with us. Thank you for joining. And then who do we have last? I think we have Jill.
I'm Jill. I'm actually one of the owners. So I also have
Oh,
6
wow.
younger brothers, so I know what you mean. We started
I was just talking to the production guys, and do any of your younger brothers buy you Christmas presents?
Well, actually, Brian is older than me, so he's the only older brother, but the rest of them are younger, and I'm the one that buys all the gifts, actually.
Yeah, me too.
So they
I'm always the
long
one
list of
buying
owing
damn
me.
gifts. Oh,
That's because I'm a
that's so
woman and
funny.
I'm
Okay, so
thoughtful.
you're. Yes. And however, we do have one part of the boiler room crew, the production guys that I'm always picking on, who did tell us that he was like, I am a good brother. I buy all the birthday presents, the Christmas presents, and da-da-da. And he was just kidding, but I was like, that is really great.
That is
Because none of
fantastic,
my brothers buy me
amazing.
crap.
I'll have to have him teach the
All right,
rest
so
of them.
I didn't expect you to say that you would be part owner, and however, I'm not surprised. So how? Let's start with, if you don't mind, if we could start with you,
Sure.
and what has been your journey, especially as a woman and a leader and an owner of this company, and what has kind of led you to being part of the show, by the way, as well.
So I actually started in logistics in going back 1998. So this year in May will be my 24th year in logistics. I started when I was 4 years old. I wish. I started.
I was rolling with it.
And I started in a freight forwarding consolidated freight station, just working a dock. I was actually my first year of college. Kind of didn't have an idea what I wanted to do other than I really wanted a full-time job. The job that I was actually at was just a part-time job, and truly, this is a funny story, but there was a big annual start the summer concert that they wouldn't give me off on. So I was like, I'm quitting, and I have to find something real quick. So I actually got into logistics by accident, really. My uncle actually was a truck driver who delivered to this place that was looking for help. And I'm like, you know what? Don't know what I want to do for college. Want to do something different. I was really young, actually, active, had a lot of free time, had a lot of energy. So I'm like, you know what? I'll give it a try. Got into there, and the place was just growing at like a rapid pace, and there was just a small amount of people, and they were doing account after account after account, and I didn't know what the heck I was doing, but they just kept handing me accounts to work on, and I just kept teaching myself as I went along and learning everything, because the people that worked there too, everything that we did was so new. It was a consolidated freight station where we would get a bunch of stuff in and ship it up to Canada, because we're in Buffalo, so we border the Canada border. And I just kept learning and growing as I went, and I was like, there's definitely something to this, something into logistics and transportation that is weird, that nobody, you can explain what you do to someone and they have no idea what you do until now that the supply chain went crazy. Now people understand it. Before it was just an industry that nobody really had any interest in. And you would say things like freight forwarder, consolidated freight station. People would be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So I thought that was actually kind of cool too, that I knew something that not too many people understood. So with the place that I started at, I kept growing, and then I found another place that was like that was hiring upper management. I actually got a job there at the age of 24, in like an upper management opening, kind of like a startup company. Learned everything that I could there, and moved on to a night shift because I thought maybe I wanted to go back to school. So I left and worked the night shift at UPS Freight. Learned there a few times, and then went to third-party logistics, where actually I met all my brothers at, and Brian. So
oh my
Brian
gosh,
and I have
how funny is that?
Yeah, Brian and I have known each other for I think 11 years this year. So, and then there I actually was in the rates department, worked my way up to rate supervisor, and then we kind of dreamt up PortX Logistics, and we we wanted the same type of situation that we had in logistics, third-party logistics, but we just wanted to do it better. And we wanted a really cool place where we can hire people and give them like a really cool opportunity to grow. And here we are, and we're growing like crazy. So we started one office in Buffalo, moved on to Long Beach, moved on to opening one in Savannah. Oakland we had from the start, where we have our own trucks, and now we just opened another office in Denver. So crazy.
Yeah, you guys are still growing, and you're still doing a lot of marketing efforts. And I love seeing women in leadership. I'm going to actually take a twist. We have a lot of options, and there are a couple talking points for us. But one thing I want to talk about, and I'm going to throw you guys off a little bit, and it's and Jill, you get to be saved from this question. But Tessie and Bea, did I miss something, or are you two not on LinkedIn?
I am on LinkedIn.
We're on LinkedIn.
I know why you're asking this, because I believe, I believe that you connected with my sister, who is Mary Greenfield, because she sent me a screenshot of the connect, and I was like, we do look a lot alike. You get that, but I am on LinkedIn, so I don't know.
Okay, good.
I don't know what we need to do here, but
the only reason I was going to give you two crap, because I've noticed that a lot of women are not in our industry, actually in overall, are not as, they aren't as quick to set up a LinkedIn profile and to network and go to conferences. We get so into our role and working and, hitting those milestones that we often don't see maybe the ROI on going out and networking. So I was going to give you two crap, but it's good to know you guys. It's just my bad research skills, and it's not that you guys aren't on LinkedIn. But I would like
and
to.
It might be my last name.
Okay. So maybe
it's research. It might have been a search thing.
Okay. That's all right. It happens all the time. I just wanted to make sure you guys are out there. You're on LinkedIn. You're on this show. That's great. But that has been one thing that I have noticed is whenever I go to conferences, and whenever I'm trying to get more people involved in things, it is harder to pull women out of their everyday work lives. Why do you guys think that is?
I mean, I think, I'll speak to that. I think coming from sort of a corporate background at FedEx and Transamerican, I think we're just sort of in that mindset to, we're just here to do our jobs and leave. So I think it's harder for even here when we started, being more on the marketing side of things, trying to get the brand out there. It was uncomfortable for me to start a LinkedIn because I never used it. I never used it at FedEx or Transamerican. They just, didn't provide that sort of outlet for us, and it wasn't important to them. So I think it's great that at PortX, we were given the chance to be out there and be us. And it's something that I think is super important. And also, just to go back to, I just, it's ingrained in our minds, I think, to just, go to your 9-to-5 job and that's it. That's the best it's going to be. So I think that's kind of why.
That makes sense. What about you, Bea?
Yeah, same thing. My background in logistics has been mostly corporate, and it's been that, networking is a little bit, it was a little bit more restricted, and something that, the companies that I worked for was typically mostly for the salespeople who happened to, at the time be mostly men. As we've grown in the industry, I have noticed that there are a lot more women in sales, and, their LinkedIn presence is still overshadowed.
Yep, it's so true. Okay, so let me go. I was a little off topic, but I'm trying to make a point to those who are listening, because I love networking, but I didn't realize how much I need the network and be visible and continue to grow that my bonds with other people in the industry until I hit a rough point in my career where I thought maybe I might lose my job. And I was like, oh crap, I don't know anybody. It's going to be hard to get another job. And I was like, oh my God, I was kind of playing catch up. And I promised myself I would never do that again. And when I had outside resources outside my company and people I could call it kind of relieved the pressure within my company and my own life as well. So it was kind of like a protectionism for myself. But I always ask those questions to see how everybody else is handling it. So the first thing I had on my list, and I don't know who wants to take this one first, but how have your careers changed since starting in the industry?
I'll go first.
I'll take it too, because, I went from working on a dock to owning a very awesome company. And really, honestly, like, to be transparent, I have no degree. I wouldn't recommend anybody not go to school. Please, all go to school. But, I had to work extra hard to move up especially a really male heavy industry. Starting 24 years ago, it was tough. So just, the 90s to the 2020s, the difference is also networking on the internet. You be able to take advantage of that like crazy. It's not all just who you know, and constantly trying to meet people. You get a huge advantage from the internet. So that's changed a lot too, for sure.
Yeah.
And really just being in a regular associate to being a leadership part of the leadership team, it's tough. But that's really how my job changed. It's 24 years of seeing this industry change is incredible. So that's why I take the women in this industry so serious. And to date, Portex actually has more women employees than men. So really,
yeah, I've never even seen a company in our industry that can say that. Damn, I love that. I'm actually going to skip over that question, even though you guys, I'm sure, have answers. We can come back. But what do you guys? This was a great question. I don't know if you guys came up with these questions or the brilliant women at FreightWaves did too. But what do women offer the industry when you're an employer and you're thinking about hiring women? Or obviously somebody's not sitting there like, should I hire some women? At least I don't think they do. But when they're sitting there thinking about who to hire, maybe you should target more women. But why? What do we bring to the workplace, and to the future of the logistics industry? Maybe from Jill, Tessie or Bea.
I think as women, we have this natural. Oh, sorry, Tess.
No, you're good. Go ahead. You got it. Take a sip of wine.
I think. Cheers. I think as women, we have this natural ability to be nurturing, right, and multitask. And I feel like there's the perspective. It has added a lot more of, like, I want to say, a human element. Just because, again, we are nurturers by nature. So just coming into work and really, taking care of our workload, taking care of our customers, taking care of our colleagues, has been something that has made, the difference in logistics, right?
So true. I couldn't agree more. And Jessie, what were you going to say?
Well, yeah, I think I would, what I was going to say is
Jessie. Damn it. I keep saying Jessie. I'm so sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. It happens a lot. I think what I understand, what I've learned, most about leadership in business these days, that it is trending towards sort of, a softer skill set. And I think as women, we just sort of naturally bring that, a tendency towards building relationships rather than it being a transactional conversation. Myself, I think that approach as women is different. And I think it's, if you come from a place of empathy and listen to people to solve problems, it goes a long way. And I think that women in general are just a little bit more higher in tune to those types of things.
I couldn't agree more. The other thing too that I was thinking about, all the women that I've worked with, and I'm not, when I'm I'm being more inclusive than exclusive with my traits. So I'm not saying anybody else is not like this, but I do find that we are incredibly hardworking, but we have very high standards for ourselves. In time, when I have women reporting to me, I have to often bring them down and be like, hey, you know, your standing's way up here you're trying to meet. And I just want you to know the rest of the human population's like down here. So don't be so hard on yourself. Like, you're doing a great job. But we tend to be very hard on ourselves and have these really high standards. But that's also, as an employer, that's great, because you know that, you know, you can kind of let us run free and we'll do a great job and kind of run departments and run with it. You know, Jill, you said that you were working your way up every single step and every place you were learning. And you even brought up, like, I think you said that you were learning everywhere you went. But I wonder if that derives also because you said you didn't have a degree, which for those of us who have degrees, sometimes we feel like it's a waste of money to get the degree. Like, we did it, but now it's a business and you didn't really learn much. And now you've got this debt and you're like, damn it, you know, getting that education is commoditization. And we don't get a lot from it. So, you know, we have these huge high standards for ourselves, and I can hear it in everything you guys are even saying. I think that's really cool. So to go back to how our careers changed to Tessie, which I do love that name. It's also a great name when you're in trouble and your mom wants to yell at you, by the way. Like, Tessie, there's so many ways to emphasize that. And you're like,
oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
But you talked about how you went from you had a corporate world, and now you're in charge of the brand management. But how has your career grown? But what changes have you seen as well? From the perspective of being a woman in our industry?
Yeah, I mean, well, my logistics journey, specifically, you know, coming from corporate places like FedEx and being in customs, and then, you know, when I got the opportunity to come here to PortX. When I got hired, I didn't even know what a chassis was, what a 53 drive-in was, what a step deck was. I didn't know any of that stuff. And you know, and 3.5 years later,
you're like, let me tell you,
they're asking me to tell all that stuff to customers and tell our story here. So I think, you know, speaking as a woman, it's been a unique experience with PortX specifically because I got that opportunity to move up. They were lucky enough, I think, here for, you know, it's very much based on like our individual and like unique abilities or like skill set. And so when they came to me and said, hey, we like think you have a cool personality, and would you like to, you know, talk to customers about joining and coming, you know, onboarding with PortX and becoming a customer and, you know, selling the juice and all that. I said, yeah, I've never had a sales job in my life, but let's do it. You know, the closest I had was being a server bartender, you know, so I guess that's sort of close, but yeah, so I mean,
actually.
I'm faking it till I make it here, but I got that awesome opportunity and where I didn't get to do it at my corporate place because they managed by spreadsheet. I was just a number, you know, I wasn't a person. So.
I think also one thing I made sure to write down is, like, when I was thinking about my career and my journey over the years, the things that I had to learn. Why do you know, okay, how about Bea, why do you think, and you can disagree with me, we only have 2 minutes left too, but why do you think women sometimes have a really difficult time, myself included, very difficult time, despite the fact that I'm a lawyer, advocating for ourselves and like promoting ourselves? We have no problem doing it for anybody else. We'll like go to head to head with somebody to advocate for them. But when it's for ourselves, we're like, that can wait.
I think it's kind of like touching on what you said earlier, is that we tend to be a little bit harder on ourselves, right? And as women, we tend to hear a lot more no's than we do yeses. So it's like when we get that no, it's like, are we just taking it? Right? What could we be doing different, right? So sometimes we do have to take a step back and say, well, I would be cheering somebody else on, and you know, sometimes we have to really take that step back and cheer ourselves on, right? Really believe in ourselves and take that risk in ourselves to really push the boundaries so that other women can follow suit, right?
That is a really good point, and a good way to wrap up our episode. I'm excited to have you guys. I know that you guys know you have Jill as a leader and that's very rare in our industry. But I want to encourage everybody who's listening that one thing I made sure to write down is having women around you and women leaders who will promote you and encourage you. And I think that what Bea said also makes us great leaders, is because we will put other people before us. We will promote, inspire, and encourage people who report to us. And I think that also makes us great leaders. It's just hard to get there when at least people like me struggle with advocating for ourselves. So I don't know if you guys ever have that issue or whatnot, but I love that point, Bea. It was so great to meet you guys. I'm not surprised at all that Brian has, helped build this company. Jill, you were a big part of it. And Adam was too. And yay to having more women than men. Yay. I mean, it's great having men too, but yay to women. We're 50% of the damn country. We should be 50% of everything else too. All right. Thank you guys very, very much. And have a great week.
Whatever your shipment, no matter the mode of transport, the real-time location and condition of your shipment matters. With Tithe, you simply activate